Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I'm really excited today to kick off my project of reading like a BookTube friend for the month of October. This month I picked Audrey from Chapters in Converse. The winner picked her, and it was perfect because I was probably going to pick her anyway, since Audrey is the one out of all 12 of my BookTube friends that I chose that reads the most appropriately for October if you're into reading creepier, darker, thrillerier, scary types of books at this time of year. I am not somebody who typically reads these kinds of books, and honestly, I put Audrey on the list as a way to push myself out of my comfort zone the most. And I've probably been the most intimidated to pick up any books like Audrey. Audrey has a saying she likes to read books about messed up people doing messed up things. And I wanted to stay away from too gory or too crazy, but I did want to dive into a little bit of the thrillers. I don't have many on my shelves. Audrey also reads some contemporary and some mystery. She loves Agatha Christie and other mysteries, but I just read an Agatha Christie for Reading Like Chantel not that long ago. Audrey and I together were able to come up with a list of 3 that I'm very excited about. At the beginning of the year, when I started this project, I pulled books that immediately I could think of for some of these friends. And when I thought of Audrey, immediately I thought of Riley Sager. And I have Final Girls on my shelves, and this is Audrey's favorite Riley Sager. She has done a video ranking or talking about all of Riley Sager's books. Riley Sager is one of Audrey's favorite authors, so of course I knew I had to read one of his books for this project. The other one that I own is Home Before Dark, but between the two, Audrey said she prefers this one. The blurb on the front says, if you liked Gone Girl, you'll like this, Stephen King. Do I read a lot of Stephen King? No. Did I like Gone Girl? No. In this one, we mainly follow a young woman named Quincy who had the unfortunate experience of being at a camping trip with some of her friends, and all of them were murdered except for her. She is the one that survived. And then there's this phrase of Final Girls, because this has happened to other young women as well, who were the last girl standing, basically the one who lived to tell the tale. And we do follow Quincy in this book. I'm not exactly sure what is going to be the plot of this or what is going to happen in here, but I'm pretty sure Audrey said it's a little bit twisted or a lot twisted. Maybe the most kind of dark out of all 3 of the books that I'm going to read like her. So I'm a little nervous, but also it's been on my shelves. I want to read it, get it off my shelves potentially, and just kind of see what I think. I have read Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, and I liked it okay, but I didn't love it. And I didn't get eager to pick up more books by him, so we'll see. But that's the first Read Like Audrey book. The second one is an author that I have not had great track record with, Ruth Ware, The Turn of the Key. I've only read a couple others, and they were just okay for me. I in particular did not like The Woman in Cabin 10 because I don't like an unreliable narrator when drugs and alcohol is the reason. So I don't know really anything about this one, but I do know that for many people, this is their favorite, or this has been their favorite Ruth Ware. So I'm glad that Audrey said this was definitely an author that she's read everything by and really does enjoy. And she did really like this one. There's no summary of this one anywhere. It's just blurbs everywhere on this book. So I can't even tell you what it's about, but I'm kind of excited about that to completely go into this one blind. I remember hearing people say that they liked it, but I don't know that I've heard a summary of it. So that'll be fun to kind of go in completely blind. Maybe Ruth Ware will surprise me and this will be a big hit. I don't know, but that's my second one. And then third is the book that I just picked up from Book of the Month last month. I did grab this because Audrey read it and loved it. I've been wanting to try Lisa Jewell because she's super popular in the thriller, suspense, intense type of genres. And I tried to get on hold on this for the audio, and it's maybe a 46-week wait or something like ridiculous like that. Like there's no way I'm going to wait and get the audio. I need to get it in print. So it was an option for Book of the Month, and I had credits. Thank you very much for using my link. I had credits. And so I was able to pick this one up. None of this is true by Lisa Jewell. This is about a podcaster. So bummer that I can't get the audio because I think that would be pretty cool. When a famous podcaster interviews a stranger promising to divulge the story of a lifetime, secrets emerge that threaten to expose the truth of the lies they've both worked hard to project and protect. Okay, I'm not going to read any more than that. With thrillers and mysteries, it's better to go in not knowing very much, but it's going to have the podcast element to it. I am curious about Lisa Jewell and her writing. I've never read anything by her. So yeah, this will be a brand new author for me. Ruth Ware I've read a couple and didn't like, and Riley Sager I've only read one other. So that is my Read Like Audrey intro. I'm already part of the way into Final Girls. It's pretty dark, and so far the main character is super annoying. She just seems she keeps making really dumb decisions and trusting people that as a reader, I don't trust and not listening to people that I do trust. And she just kind of ignores their advice. So I'm like, what are you doing? But I'm expecting that what I'm thinking is the red herring. Like what I'm thinking is what Riley Sager wants me to think. And then things are going to get twisted and put on their head. So maybe the people that I do trust are the people I shouldn't be trusting. I don't know. But I'm ready for a twist in this one. I don't know how far I'm in. I'm listening to it on audio. But yes, let me know what you think about these three and stay tuned because I will tell you my thoughts as I go. But that is my Read Like Audrey. I feel pretty okay about this. It could have gone a lot darker, but I think I'll be okay. We'll see. Hello. So I have finished Final Girls by Riley Sager. I just filmed my intro clip to Audrey's video this morning and I was about halfway through and I was able to listen during nap time today and while waiting in the car to pick him up from school, and I just came home and listened for about an hour and a half as well. So I finished listening and it's fun because about halfway through, just around the halfway point, I guess, I don't exactly know where I was, but I had this idea of what was going to happen. I even filmed a clip because I'm like, I want it to be known that this is what I think is going to happen. I was not right. So I'm not going to use that clip because it would be spoilery for something that doesn't actually happen, but it was kind of fun to have an idea and be suspicious all along. I enjoyed the twist at the end. I knew a twist was coming. I just thought it was going to be something totally different than what it was. So that was fun. I'm really bad, first of all, at figuring out mysteries. And I was really bad at figuring this one out too. But it was a fun read. I would not recommend it for people who typically read like me because there's some sexy times in there. There's language in there. There's a girl who is somewhat unreliable because of drugs and alcohol. All of those things, which for me are not my normal reads and not something that I would always want to pick up and read. And a lot of, at the beginning, kind of eye-rolling moments of, this girl is so dumb. Why is she just blindly trusting this person? Or why is she not listening to the people who are supporting her? And I just was so frustrated with her decisions, which in the end, it kind of adds to the twist. But in the moment, I was super annoyed with the main character. Didn't really like who she was for the majority of the book. And yet also, how can I say how I would be if I was somebody who survived something so traumatic by like seeing right in front of my eyes my friends die? Although she did have some memory loss, selective memory loss, I guess, around the situation. It was a compelling read. I didn't want to stop reading. I wanted to find out what was going to happen. So that's good. The writing itself wasn't bad. It just definitely was not a typical Krista book. So I'm very curious because I think Final Girls is the most gruesome maybe of the three that Audrey and I decided on. There was quite a bit of stabbing and killing and brutality, which again is not not my normal read at all. So do with that what you will. If all of that sounds great to you and you haven't tried reading Final Girls, maybe that is the book for you. I'm not opposed to reading more Riley Sager. I just have to be in the right mindset because it's definitely not an uplifting, wholesome read. Not by any means is it that type of a book. Not heartwarming at all. So That's one done though, and I'm determined to catch up by the end of the month. So I've already found Turn of the Key on audio, so I'm gonna start that right now. Yay! Hey. Once again, I have finished the 2 other books. I forgot to get on and record after finishing my second book. So I have the last of my Read Like Audrey books to talk about. So I'll first start with The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I have not had the greatest luck with Ruth Ware in the past. I really didn't like The Woman in Cabin 10, and The Death of Mrs. Westaway was just okay for me. This one was creepy. I enjoyed parts of it because it involves a nanny going to work for this family in Scotland. She lives down in the southern England part, like London area, I believe, and moves up to Scotland to be a live-in nanny for this very wealthy family who owns a smart house. And it was creepy. There are ghost sounds. There are kids who really don't like her. The parents leave very shortly after hiring her. So parts of it were definitely unrealistic. And our main character was super annoying. Rachel, I think her name was Rachel. Nope. Anyways. And she, again, like the main character in Final Girls, really annoyed me with some of the choices that she was making, some of the ways that she was behaving. I just really didn't like the main character. And that is a trope or a trend or a part of thrillers that I just really don't like. Young girls making stupid decisions. I really don't like that at all. However, I was on the edge of my seat wanting to know what was going to happen. There were some fun twisties at the end of the book, like towards the end, that came as total surprise to me. However, this one does have a lot of trigger warnings. If you're somebody who needs to know the trigger warnings ahead of time, I would look up this one. If you haven't read it yet and it all sounds interesting to you, I would look up trigger warnings because there are some pretty serious trigger warnings in here, including death of a child and sexual abuse. So I cannot say that I enjoyed this one, but I was on the edge of my seat. And that's something that I have been appreciating this month. This is the kind of book that I wanted to read. I did like the creepy factor. I did like not knowing what the noise was in the attic and the smart house that went crazy sometimes. I didn't love the fact that it's very unrealistic to me that this family, that the husband and wife would leave like one day after hiring her. So they barely know this girl and they're leaving their 3 young children with her. That didn't sit right with me at the beginning as somebody who is a nanny and knowing how cautious and knowing the parents that I work with, but maybe that's more normal than I know. I don't know. But I did like this better than The Woman in Cabin 10 for sure. But again, with the young girl drinking too much and not getting a lot of sleep because of the noises that she's hearing, it just did feel like that unreliable narrator trope that I don't love. So it was okay again, but I just think I'm not a huge Ruth Ware fan overall. Yeah, it was definitely better for me than The Woman in Cabin 10. I will say again, if you're somebody who normally reads like me, I mean, these 3 books definitely have way more language than I normally like in books, and they definitely have scenes and storylines that are not my typical read. So if you're somebody who normally reads like me, this is not a recommendations video. I'm not at all recommending these books to you. However, I mean, it is fun to go out of your comfort zone every once in a while and read something new, read something different. And the third one that I just finished last night is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I listened to this on audio through Scribd, and it was a full cast audio, which I don't think, like, I can't remember the last time that I listened to a full cast audio. It was so much fun to listen to it that way. A big part of this story, one of our main characters, Alex, is a podcaster, and she had been doing this whole series about women empowerment and women who had made something of their lives, and she was getting bored of that. And one day she meets her birthday twin. They're both out for their birthday at a bar, and Alex is approached by Josie, who says, hey, it's my birthday too. We're birthday twins. Turns out they were both born in the same town, in the same hospital. And Josie knows Alex because of her podcast and gives her this idea of just telling her life. Like, what about if you start doing a podcast about a woman who's about to change her life, or who wants to change her life, who hasn't yet arrived at that bad A woman status, but is wanting things to change. And Alex is like, sure, I could try that. So they start meeting, and Josie tells her story, which is pretty harrowing. So the family, it has a lot of dysfunction. And so Alex is just kind of uncovering this story little by little by little. I mean, but the title of the book hints as to where things are going to go. And things become dangerous, and the relationship between Alex and Josie is not always what it seems. And you just are questioning everything. And then when you feel like you've gotten the answer, Lisa Jewell makes you question it all again with that last chapter. So I again had a lot of fun going through this. It was a very quick read. I just read it in a couple days, and yet I don't know that I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed the reading of it because I just wanted to know what was going to happen. I didn't want to stop reading. I wasn't hesitant into picking it up. I wanted to keep going, find out what was going to happen. Like, what is true here? I also am somebody who likes closure and likes an ending. I am not a huge fan of an ambiguous ending. And I think this one does leave a little bit of ambiguity at the end. And I don't know if that's spoilery. I mean, it's kind of in the title, so I don't feel like that's too spoilery, because I'm not saying what part of it is ambiguous, but some of it left me questioning what is actually true here and what isn't true. And I think that's the point. I mean, clearly that's the title, so that is the point. I don't know how to rate these because I feel like for the most part, they're going to get like 3 stars for me, because I don't feel like I can recommend them. And yet my enjoyment of them was way more than my enjoyment of the Mitzi books that I read last month, which also got 3 stars. But if I give them 4 stars, I feel like people might try to pick them up. And I don't know that I want you to. If you're somebody who normally reads a little bit more cleaner, a little bit more along the line of Christian values, these definitely don't qualify. There's one marriage in here that I appreciated, because that definitely showed their struggles, and yet they were determined to work through things. And then there was one marriage that was a hot mess express. So much language, like a lot of language that I didn't appreciate, and just deceit and manipulation and straight up lies, but you didn't always know what was a lie and what was true. So it was a fun read in that I was constantly trying to figure out what was true, but it was also stressful. This one definitely had some triggers that you need. I mean, all of them, always in a thriller. I feel like if you're somebody who has triggers, then you need to look up the trigger warnings. Okay. So if I'm going to rate these 3 with each other, oh golly. Oh my word. I think I'm going to put I don't know. I think I'll put the Lisa Jewell as my favorite of the 3, just because of that questioning the whole time, what's real and what isn't real. I don't know. I feel like they're all on very similar ground in my mind. I didn't like the main character of either of these. Yeah, I feel like these are very equal in my mind. I listened to all 3 of them, and I'm not keeping any of them on my shelves, if that tells you anything. They're all going to my Pango shop. I think I liked this one a little better because it was a little more creepy, which fit October vibes. And then Final Girls will be my 3rd. I think that's my rating. So None of This Is True is my favorite, and then The Turn of the Key, and then Final Girls. Yeah, this was a tough one. I knew Reading Like Audrey was going to definitely push me out of my comfort zone. But I also knew was hopeful for exactly what happened, that they were compelling reads that I wanted to go through quickly, that I didn't want to put down, that I needed to know the twists and the turns and what was actually happening. And that was the case for all 3 of them. So they all did that really well. I know people who like Riley Sager, often this is their least favorite, and I can see why. I mean, the main character was just so super annoying. And people who like Ruth Ware, this is one of their favorites usually. So I can see that. I definitely liked it better than the other Ruth Wares that I have read. This is my first Lisa Jewell. These two I've read from before, but not Lisa Jewell. So I would pick up more of hers, but go into it knowing it's going to have some language. It's going to keep me guessing. Yeah, there you have it. There's my read like Audrey. I really love this project. It's definitely gotten me out of my comfort zone. I did not expect to like my Audrey books as much as I did, and yet still don't feel like I could recommend them. It's such a tricky thing to talk about, right? Oh man. So anyways, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you read any of these? What did you think about them? Did you think similarly to me? Are you going to pick them up now very cautiously? Let me know. I love chatting with you down in the comments, and I look forward to talking with you in another video very soon. Bye.